Good evening, my people. This is Storytime Evening. I have a little topic this evening. It's a little interesting. So I have a visitor with me here, and she's a she, and she camera shy, so she does not want to be in the camera. But we're gonna have a nice conversation this evening. So you guys need to just stay tuned and just listen to our conversation, and you guys could give me your views on it, like and share it, people. This topic this evening is about the masculine energy. Yes, my people. So I want you guys to listen attentively and then tell me what you guys think about this conversation. It's story time, you know that already. So yeah, so my visitor here, we're gonna start our topic, so she needs to just tune in now and start, our topic by she gonna ask me some questions, and then we're gonna get more deeper into the conversation. So let's go.
Okay. All right. So one of the questions I do want to pose to you: are you aware, or do you believe that there is masculine and feminine energy in both sexes, as the male and female?
Well, yes, I believe in that, and reason why I believe in that, I'm just going to give you a bit of my experience why I say I believe in that, because I walk outside there and I meet up on a lot of people, and some of the people, especially the young men, enough of them are more on a feminine, the way how they react is like they're more on the feminine energy more than the masculine energy. And you see, people tend to think that because them act more feminine and talk them voice maybe not as loud as are them voice maybe not as rolling or even mine where it have that rumbling to it, them feel as if the man is moving a different way from, it's like say him stepping out of the box then as a man, as a masculine then. And it's not true. Most of the time it's not true, because I see enough men who act that way. It's natural him, and him as straight as a whistle. So if that's the reason, or that it's, I don't really know. So I mean, just by going along, I know you will explain more to me. So I think I answered that one a little bit. So yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, what would you consider, because you did explain where the male may possess a bit more feminine energy, how would you explain a male who has a more dominant masculine energy? What traits would you see in that perspective?
Well, most men, like who to the question when you asked me, most of those men that
you elaborated where you saw men who move more in their feminine energy. Now, with that being said, what traits do you see with a man who moves more in the masculine energy?
ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ego is one of them. Man like that who, them full of ego, a lot of them ignorant, they doesn't have respect for females, because enough of them act like only them alone exist in this world today, which is not good. So they does not have respect for females. Them talk to the females anyhow. It's a whole, it's a lot of stuff that they do. And I mean, I'm just pointing out a few, yes, but ego is one of them. Very ignorant, and them think them are high almighty. Yes, those kind of stuff. And me personally, I don't think it's right. But then again, you can't fight down people. If to each their own, right? So, yeah.
Okay. One of the things that I observe when a man moves very highly in their masculine energy is the need to be dominant,
Okay.
their need to control, being possessive, controlling, and ego, yes, but it's not really so much of ego, but they feel intimidated,
Okay.
and they also, their pride is also been damaged to a certain extent because they tell themselves that they're not getting the quote-unquote respect that is due to them being by another male or female. You understand? So you'll see a lot of men moving with that very aggressive, dominant behavior. Yeah. So this is one of. Do you see the lack of correction? Where do you feel that the ball was dropped?
Well, right now, most times when it drop, you see, when you have a couple that going on good, and it's starting from young age, and you reach to a stage in them life where them start making kids. And when you see them start making kids, and by going along, things start turning sour between the relationship, when one have to go east and one go west. This is where it drops. You understand? Because then now, it's turned out to be a tug of war. Because when the two people together in the home, where the two of them agree with each other and have a topic where the two of them address first before they can address the kids, it's a different story from when it's apart. Because it could never write. A few people have a relationship where they get kids together and still keep it even though they're not together in a relationship, but then still keep the relationship within them with the kids. You understand? A few. You asked me, where do I see where the ball drop? So this is where it dropped. When the relationship breaks, it could be a married relationship or just a regular relationship between two persons.
Because you have to understand too, here's the thing. You have to understand that there's a lot of children, being male or female, where the father was never in the picture from the very beginning.
Well, that is true.
There's no relationship. You understand?
Well, that is true. I mean, I understand where the female can get pregnant and that can make the thing turn sour. Where the kid come in this world without a father. But me I talk,
knowledge of any knowledge.
Right. But when me I say no, the one who have it and did have it good until kid come in play, kid come and one kid come, two kid come, and then all of a sudden the relationship turns sour. And this one a drag east, that the other one a drag west. And if them not keep the relationship for the kids them where it's what them have to agree and stuff and able to can adjust the kids them. If it's not that way, and out of jealousy, cause enough time the man or the woman do things out of jealousy because then did love or the man disrespect or the woman disrespect, then them just one just start said this about that one, so the kids them you could never have the thing on because
unity.
This minute there's no unity because this minute this one says something, the father go over this so I go say that no right, no follow your mother, and the father say over this. This is what causes enough of these things.
Yeah, well, that is one perspective. That's just one avenue, one perspective. But at the same time, you have those who, it's very important. It goes back to having the father and the mother being mentally stable and raising the child.
Yeah.
And if you, just by the example to even what you've given, even if one cannot, if for example the mother's not mentally stable and the fathers are not mentally stable, being in unity and one of how to deal with issues of raising the child, then yes, that's going to cause chaos.
That is true.
You're going to have even chaos when the father is there and he himself has not dealt with his own traumas and issues.
True.
Chaos will still be transferred over to the child.
Definitely.
You're still going to remain and get chaos. No child can feel whole with a parent missing, being it a mother or a father.
Yeah.
There's going to be something missing. So there will always need to be some form of therapy. There's always going to be some form of healing needing to take place whenever these things become a myth or fall short.
Well, here what happened now? Me would have said, you know, after this generation now, you know. Me would have said after this generation, because here what happened now. I could use examples from other examples.
You know why it's not for this generation? Because this is where I'm going to explain. It's not for just this generation, because when you have a male that abuses a female, being verbally or physically, there's 90% of the time he's seeing it being done because they saw grandpa doing it, grandma, then their father seeing their father doing it to their mother, and it continues. So you got that quote unquote generational person. It's being passed down from one generation to another.
And that is our main topic too, because you see, most of the world today does not believe in those things. None of them not even know what generational curse is about or what it is. And these are the things where you see the people have a saying, say the parents suck the sour grape and it will set the children teeth in theirs. It's not physically mean a grape that you physically eat.
The behaviors
it's
and
all
the
about
actions and the mindset of an individual, they take it from the parents,
Yes.
and they themselves develop and grow and act the same way as the said parents.
Definitely. And these are some important things. It's very important that, like you say, you have an abusive relationship. You have to get help to deal with certain things, because if you don't really get help, you will stuck with it. And these are some of the stuff that happening in the world today, where people just start rebel and doing a lot of crap. Yes,
So now, as I was saying, what happens when a male tends to move to be too dominant in their masculine energy? They're very aggressive.
Okay.
And with that aggressiveness, there's abuse. So you'll find men that who are abusive, always fighting, beating women. They're moving very highly in their masculine energy.
So you say because they are moving so high in their masculine energy, it tends to trigger them off to do stuff by beating up on their women. And
anytime you find males who move highly in their masculine energy, they're very aggressive, very dominant.
But I want to know more about it, as in like what triggered that to make them be so aggressive then?
Because it goes back to their childhood, their upbringing. Everything that an individual experienced, being emotion, stems from their upbringing as a child. This is where you have childhood trauma that's never been addressed. So a lot of times you'll have children who have been abused themselves, children who have been abandoned by their mother or their father, children who also has experienced abuse by their father. They've seen their father beat their mother, be very dominant and aggressive, being very violent.
But let me ask you this though. I mean, like, so you saying that if a kid born into a family where the man, say the man, because the man is the stronger into the family then, as the saying says. So you saying that they have kids in the family and the family grow up where the man being violent then, or either one being violent, you are saying that the kid them specifically have to follow that trend?
90% of the time, the child will expose or will develop some form of childhood trauma where either they'll be very abusive, dominant, or even in retrospect in all, they'll fall into all of the categories.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I understand what you're saying still, and I mean, God, the saying is, kids live what they learn. Not always it's not always that way, but 75% of the time, yes. Because me see kids where grow up into a violent home then where come out to be someone good, come out to something good then, put it that way,
because
and then didn't really
take
on that trend.
Yes.
You know?
Well, that is very, which is not of the norm. In retrospect, that child sees within themselves, then they know that what's happening is not right. And they tell themselves that they don't want to be like that. They don't want to exhibit or treat another individual in that manner.
Yeah.
So they do work on not being the aggressor. They do work on not being so dominant. But then what happens is, instead of them really getting any form of therapy and working on that childhood trauma, they'll tend to move into the more feminine side.
Okay.
And the balance is not there. In order for one to flow accordingly, there should be balance within the masculine and
the
feminine energy.
Okay.
Because when he moves now into much of the feminine energy, he's being dominant by his partner.
Okay.
He's being very laid back and not speaking up for himself. And
so you're saying that if him adapt more of the feminine energy, then he more laid back, as in we call it like lazy.
No,
then.
not lazy. When I mean laid back, when it comes time to speak up for yourself, when it comes time to defend yourself in a time to defend yourself, or to express yourself, that is being more moving too highly into the feminine energy, in the sense of being very docile.
Okay.
You understand? Yes, being very docile. Now, we're not talking about being feminine, being dainty, or walking with a little switch and a swag in the hip.
Yeah, me understand.
We're talking about being very docile, very quiet.
Yeah.
And
because definitely I really see people, male, who really just, I would say, just let go things, them just there. You understand? Like them, it's like they doesn't care about anything, them just there. Even if you ask them a question, somebody would have to be there to answer that question. They doesn't speak up for themselves and stuff like that. And me, I really don't like that kind of energy still, because for me, in my field, I could name it anything. Because if you're a man, for me, you're supposed to act like a man, stand up as a man, push your shoulder up, you know?
Okay,
yeah.
You made a very a broad statement.
Yeah.
You say one should act like a man and stand up like a man. What is the definition of a man?
Well, I mean, I could talk based upon how I grew, how I was brought up, knowing that the man would be the man is the head of the family. The man, as in the structure, man, the man at the head of the family. So you have to stand up and make sure, say, you can fend for yourself, you can defend yourself, you can explain, you can, if somebody asks you a question, you should be able to man up and say, yo, listen, this is it. I'm explaining myself. Or if I don't know, or if I don't understand, I want to know more about it. But just don't sit down there and just acting like you don't have no sense then. Something like that. That's why I said what I said. Because we know from you the real man, are you born on this earth as a man, and you reach to the stage where you acknowledge that you are a man, you're gonna show some signs, say, yo, listen, I acknowledge myself to be a man. So I'm gonna grow up to be a man. And you know, I'm showing sign by going along, say, yo, I can work for myself, I can offer to my sister, I can offer to my brother, I could offer to my mother, up until when I could play my own role, as into having my own life, my own everything for myself. That's just a little bit of my declaration.
Okay, so that's your perception of what a man is.
Yeah.
Okay. What I, as a woman, as a female, what I see, what I tell myself and what I see as a man is supposed to be a man to me is an individual who's a protector.
Yes.
Who's a helpmate.
Yes.
Who walks beside you, not in front of you,
but beside you.
But beside you.
Which is right.
Yes. A man is also somebody who is able to bring peace and tranquility to the home.
Yeah.
As well as the female, don't get me wrong. But he's also, as you said, he's the head because he's considered the king.
Yeah.
He's the king, he's the head. But a king cannot be a king unless he has what?
A queen beside him. So, yeah.
There has to be balance.
Man, and you have to be respect, man. When you have your queen beside you, have to be respect, man. You have to acknowledge that this is your queen, so you have to deal with her with the utmost respect and love. You understand? Where it's my queen, so I have to protect her and shield her. You understand? From all harm and all dangers. And harm and danger not just come by just physical, somebody come and want be danger.
Right.
Just by respect and how you talk with her, how you deal with her, how you deal with the issue at hand, all these things. You know, these are some of the things that we are talking about. You know, so we want our young man to see and listen to this video and take a key out of it and try to fix certain things. Not only just in the home, walking out on the street, because enough time we walk out on the street and not even just to pick up see a nice young lady walking down the street and try to adjust them as a try to getting to know them or whatever. We just call to them and we just chat to them anyhow and all these things. And because we don't know, we never brought up a certain way and understand how to respect a female, we don't know how to address them. And when you address them a certain way and they don't like it, and you got enough of the young females them will not accept certain way of how you address them, and when they talk up the thing or talk about it, you know, want to lick off their head and kill them and them kind of something.
I've had men seen men, hear men address women as bitchs, call them all derogatory names because they refuse to even acknowledge the man that called to them. Mind you, they're not even addressing the woman in a appropriate manner.
Right.
But yet you want this woman to acknowledge you. You want this woman to see that you're even calling to her. How do you expect that to happen when you're not in the very get-go, from your very approach, there's no respect?
So you see, this is what one of the things that we goes back to the same thing, because most of these men they're not brought up good. They never get the father talk, or some of them do get it too, and them just don't care. Them just turn to something else. You understand? And
It stems from the home.
yes,
It stems from the home. It stems from the upbringing. And
Yeah.
this is one of the things that I mentioned from the very beginning. It's the home.
yeah. So I think, yeah, 'cause you see, thing is, enough time when you use a term or a word, maybe just because one maybe no see it in a book written say it's so, them not approve say so. But it all start from in the home. If people them live where they learn. If you never teach a youth them a certain way and make them know say, yo, this is wrong
Not
and this
accepted.
is right, and it's not accepted in my home, and when it's not accepted in my home, it's not gonna be accepted out there. Enough of these kids never get that. You understand? And one of the things I'm gonna point out a main factor why enough of these kids don't get that. Because in this world today, especially when you touch, well, it's everywhere, but we have to mention even the Caribbean, where as the kids them reach a certain age, they start having kids too. So them never get their brought up, so they don't have the knowledge to
And wisdom to pass on
to
to
pass
their own
it on
children.
to their own kids. So this is why we have such a contamination between the two sets. They don't know how to adjust. Them just feel so they can say, yo, come here, them kind of something there, and them don't know the proper way to address a female by, you know, drawing them in. And when whoever they address don't like it and understand even more better than them, because you know, and me know they say the female, most times, the female way more advanced than the male.
It is well known that a female mentally develops faster than the male.
Yes. And then, this is one other thing too. And even when I was going to school, when we come on to class time, when the female will sit down and take her teaching and them kind of something there, most male gonna feel, gonna play, you know. Them don't have time to understand the whole teachings of life itself, you know. Them not care about that. When they catch themselves, them out of school already, most times. So these are the kind of stuff, and they not get the teaching in our home neither. So,
let me ask you something. Going back a bit, where do you see the lack of structure? Because I just want to stick with the male energy, with males in a sense, and the energy of the masculine energy, to stick with the male.
Yeah.
Where do you see the lack of direction